Welcome to PsychicBent. My name is Carrie.
And I'm Kim. We are two sisters wanting to help other psychics learn and grow in their abilities and to help educate about spirits, angels, and everything psychic.
Welcome back, listeners, to PsychicBent. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. We've been having a lot of fun doing this. This week, we thought we would go with the current holiday season of Thanksgiving and discuss gratitude. Gratitude is important in everyday living as well as in our spiritual development and such. So, Carrie, why don't you go ahead and start us off on gratitude?
Oh, absolutely. Spiritual significance of gratitude is very important, like you said. If you draw to you what you put out. So if you expect something to go wrong or go bad, what usually happens? It goes wrong and it goes bad. And it's
Exactly.
But if you put out, you put out love and happiness, what do you get back? You get that energy back. It's so easy in today's world to be negative Nelly or to just, like I said, that's just my luck, and take that kind of attitude. Because we're surrounded by so much negativity in the world. You can't even turn the TV on with the news and they start talking politics and negativity is on every aspect of it. When you're constantly around negativity, what happens? It lowers your vibration and it does affect your psychic abilities.
Right.
So practicing gratitude can basically transform your spiritual journey. They've done studies that when you express gratitude regularly, it enhances the connection to something greater than ourselves, if that makes sense. So we're just going to kind of explore the spiritual significance of gratitude and how it can deepen our senses of purpose and fulfillment. And it's something that really should be a daily practice, just like, when you do your affirmations, Kim, that is, in essence, you're doing some gratitude work, correct?
Yeah, I would agree with that, definitely.
Because it's all positive. And like I said, it's so easy to have the mindset of not being grateful or looking for something to be grateful for in a particular situation. I just think we get that possibly fight or flight mode trigger sometimes when things don't go the way we are trying to manifest or what we're doing. And we can go from gratitude to ego popping up and woe is me. I think it's very important. And it happens to all of us. It's very difficult. Some days when you got things in retrograde and you got people at work you have to deal with, sometimes it can be very difficult to have a grateful mindset. What do you think about that, Kim?
Well, I agree with that. I also think that, sometimes people feel skeptical about how gratitude works or how it could really make your vibration go up and everything because they don't think that gratitude does anything. Meaning that how can something so simple could have such a big impact? And they could be skeptical about that. You may feel that you're too angry or sad to find gratefulness in anything.
Yes.
But that's finding a little bit of something to be grateful about in anything can only help raise how you feel and how your vibrations are. And can get you out of that, I'm too angry, I'm too sad, I don't really think this is going to work, I'm too busy, and stuff like that. So that's I think gratitude is something that we all could practice better to help with our abilities and our journey and everything, and just how we feel each day.
Yeah, and how often do you say thank you? Just say thank you for something. Let's say you're running late for work, and so you're getting frazzled, and you're in the car, and then all of a sudden you realize you just missed getting hit by a car because you were late, and that accident happened right before you. That's a good example of thank you for making me late. Thank you for protecting me from this accident. It's simple things in everyday life that we don't look for areas to be grateful for. And I think a lot of that has to do with social media. That's just my opinion. And of course, what we get bombarded with news-wise, what we choose to surround ourselves with. Sometimes if you have narcissistic people in your life, it's hard to be grateful. Because what you surround yourself with is what your mood's going to be and where your vibration's going to be. Trying to have that, open gratitude in every aspect. It's a paradigm shift of your mind. You have to stop and really make yourself aware of, I need to be grateful for whatever's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude can enhance, like I said, the connection to something greater than ourselves. It cultivates a sense of awe and wonder and opens the heart and mind to the divine presence. Practicing gratitude brings profound changes in your mindset and your overall well-being, allowing full appreciation of the present moment and finding joy in simple things. I mean, like the other morning, we had a phenomenal sunrise. We've had storms in the mountains here in North Carolina, and the sky was on fire.
Wow.
I'm trying to get ready for work, and then I just kind of like, no, it wasn't ready for work. We were getting ready to go. Dad and I were going to go do some chores. And I just stopped and I'm like, Dad, look, you got to go outside and look at the sky. We go out and just grateful for that beautiful sunrise that, of course, I quickly took pictures because it doesn't last that long.
Yeah.
You get that intense orangish red, and then all of a sudden it's gone. Took a moment and just had gratitude for that, seeing that beautiful, because we could have missed it completely. We were in the garage.
Yeah.
It was just one of those glance up, look out the window of the garage and say, oh my gosh, Dad, we got to go look at this. That looks gorgeous. And we went out and enjoyed that moment, and was grateful for that moment. And that kind of just like sets the pace for your day. It was just beautiful. But how many times do we not, take advantage of that? I think, practicing the gratitude so you can be present in a moment and just find joy in simple things will make your life so much happier. And it's so easy to do. And if you're going to manifest or you want to attempt to manifest, you have to have gratitude. They go hand in hand. You're trying to manifest something wonderful in your life and it happens and you're just like, yeah, okay, well, I'm good. I made it happen. Or it's like, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for allowing, this to happen. And thank you for, blessing. And you just be honestly grateful for it and you will manifest more and you will be more successful at it.
Exactly. As long as you're focusing on it as from the heart.
Yes.
You can't just say thanks after every little thing and not feel it and acknowledge that it really is something to be thankful for.
Yeah, I mean,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've got an example where I just purchased a home, and bless Kim was with me, and Dad were with me through every. It was at the time of year. It's a weird time to try to buy a house anywhere.
Yeah.
Because the real estate market is crazy, and buying a house is probably one of the most stressful things you do in your life. I think getting a divorce and buying a house.
Yeah, I agree.
They're both crazy, stressful situations because there's so many elements that are not in your control. Well, I bought a fixer-upper, and I knew it was a fixer-upper, but I also was manifesting that I can get a good deal on a home that I could fix up, and then when the time came to sell it, I would make money on it,
Right.
and be, have that come back to me. And the very first house I absolutely fell in love with was not a fixer-upper. It was move-in ready, showed it to Kim. I'd gone to see it once, want to go back the second time, and it was under contract.
Yep.
I mean, it was 2 days later, I was going back to see it. It was already under contract. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. But it had everything I needed, and I have some odd needs. I need a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
I need a room to do my jewelry making. I need a place an outbuilding to have house my lasers and do my laser work there. So I needed specific things. And this baby was ticking all the boxes.
Oh, did it ever?
Yeah. Now, it did have some negative aspects to it, like there wasn't a lot of parking. a lot
Right.
of room for parking because this was on the side of a mountain kind of thing. And, so there was that. And I'm just like, okay, here I am just trying to manifest this to happen. And it was like, they had a cash offer. So they snapped it up. And I'm just like, well, okay, that wasn't supposed to be the one. So I had to be grateful that was removed because that wasn't supposed to be the one.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
It's one of those situations. And then I was told to wait. And so I was getting anxious because, I don't like it when spirit tells me I have to wait.
You don't ever like to be told to wait, whether it's
I know.
spirit or
It doesn't
not.
matter. That is true. That is true. You know me so well. But because I'm like going, well, I don't want to lose another house. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to, because I was obsessing over this house.
Mm-hmm.
Kept looking at the pictures, and I got my financing pre-approved. I was ready to go.
Right.
And the spirit was like, hold on, just hold on. And I went to look at this other house, and it's really funny. The one house address was 155, and numerology wise,
Mm-hmm.
well, the other house, the house that I purchased, its house number is 266.
Right.
But they both have the same name of street, except for one was a hollow and one was a circle.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of funny how that put into play,
Yes.
because the street names were almost identical. We go from 155 to 266. I'm getting a much better opportunity with the home that I bought to flip, right?
Yeah.
And it has everything I need. Now, do I have to do a lot of work to it? Yeah, I do. But that was kind of, I want to be able to, maybe 5 years down the road or whatever the housing market's doing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you buy a house, some mortgage companies or banks, they have to have an appraiser come out and appraise the house. Now, I knew this house needed a new roof. Okay. Well, the loan officer said, if the appraiser says it needs a new roof, we can't close until a new roof gets put on it. And so that was what we were, that was a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Then there were some, the roof had been leaking, obviously. And so there was a little area outside the kitchen where the drywall had cracked. And it was like, easy fix when we close, we'll get the new roof, get that fixed, blah, blah. So when I find out that, I may have to pay for a roof on a house that I don't own yet, I kind of like, oh, okay, spirit, and I was doing that. I was grateful that I had this opportunity, but we're going to need to, have the appraiser not notice the roof.
Yeah. Put blinders up.
And,
Put blinders up.
yeah. So I'm manifesting this whole don't notice the roof. Go in, don't notice the roof. And so the appraiser came in, we got the appraisal report, and they want that spot in the kitchen ceiling fixed and outlet covers replaced, or we can't close. And immediately I went to that. You gotta be kidding me. I have to do work on a house that's not mine. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. She didn't notice the roof. Yes, thank you. But it was so easy to go the opposite direction. Like, I gotta fix a roof. I don't mind fixing the ceiling when it's my house, and it was really hilarious because I called my realtor and I'm like, well, I'm really grateful she didn't notice the roof. That's wonderful. And I'd so thank spirit once I finally kind of like clicked my mindset.
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. No, this is good. And then I told my realtor, I said, well, we all know that needs fixed. And this is nothing new. I said, but really, why should I have to pay to fix a house that isn't mine yet? And he goes, you're right. Let me find out. Well, I didn't have to fix it. They did. And it was like, okay, thanks, spirit. So I was really happy with how it all turned out, but at that first moment was, oh my gosh, I have to fix that ceiling. It's not even my house yet, and the buyer can back out at any time.
That's right.
And the seller can too. So I can back out at the last minute. They can back out at the last minute. I'm like, oh my gosh, and it was just like, wait a minute, this worked out great. This worked out better than I thought, but I had to remind myself, wait a minute. She wasn't supposed to notice the roof and she didn't, and I was like, yes. Then I was very happy, And Spirit was just like, call your realtor David. Tell him you don't want to pay to fix the house because it's not yours. All right. And so it worked out.
Yeah.
But I could have so easily gone that other way because I started down that step. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to pay for this. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's not the roof. Because trying to get a roof on a house, you just can't,
It's
get it done in
weeks.
3-4
Yeah,
days.
it's weeks to
Yeah.
just get the supplies or whatever.
And then you have to get estimates. And then I could put a new roof on this house, have to pay for it, and then the buyer changed their mind.
Yeah.
I mean, the seller changed their mind. I don't know why I keep saying the buyer.
Yeah, because now the roof is repaired so they could sell it for a higher price.
Yes. And I got a crazy deal on it because the roof needed repaired.
Exactly.
Exactly. But the whole point was, very stressful period. We're going the week of closing, not knowing if we're closing or not. And then she had to go back and re-inspect it to make sure these things were fixed.
Yeah.
And it was so stressful. So it was so easy in that stressful mindset to go, oh my gosh, you're going to be kidding me. I got to do this, And then it was like, oh, wait a minute. This is good. This is what I wanted. This is what I asked for,
Yeah.
And you have to keep in mind, what you're asking for may not be what you think you're asking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, because you may not need that. You need this, which is tied to it.
Yeah.
And that's where you
Exactly.
have to find the gratefulness in, is that you are really wanting this over here, but this is a better
Right.
fit, or this is what you need now at this time in your life. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because sometimes when you're manifesting, you're visualizing, you're seeing it how it is. It's already done, and you're doing those steps. But sometimes what you're manifesting is not better than what you're going to get. What you're going to get is better than what you're manifesting.
Right.
So basically, that was a very long story to get to where you can so easily slip out of gratitude mindset.
Yeah.
And then catch yourself and then go back into having, a more grateful attitude. And, when you practice gratitude, it's going to you're going to have personal growth from that, because it changes your vibration. It raises you higher. It's going to have a spiritual development significance to it. And then, scientific research on gratitude has shown that it can improve your overall well-being and happiness. So when you cultivate an attitude of gratitude, you're shifting your focus from what's lacking in your life to what you already have, and allowing you to appreciate the present moment and find joy in the simplest things. So I thought that was interesting, how many people focus on what they don't have.
Oh, so many.
And we all do it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, if ego gets loose and starts running around rampantly. It's like the same issue as if you're coveting what somebody else has. Oh, they have that. I wish I had that. Well, okay, well, that's not experiencing gratitude. You could be happy that they have that. I'm so happy you have that. I might try to manifest that for myself and see if spirit thinks it's what I need. But when you have what you do have, be grateful for what you do have, your family, your relationships. This will also impact how people react to you when you come with a gratitude of an open gratitude, like you're sincerely grateful for what is happening and what's going on. And if you're constantly being sincerely grateful to spirit and your guides and to source and all the angels that you work with, or whatever it is your practice is, well, you're going to start to be grateful to other people as well.
Mm-hmm. True.
Where, at the grocery store, you're going to say thank you more, maybe, or you maybe just take a moment, just look at someone and say, thank you very much, and just be at that moment instead of, being caught up on, where you got to go next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a big rule, because Kim's used to hearing this. I'll be talking to her while going to the grocery store, because A, we talk a lot, and B, I do talk a lot. And C, I don't want to have an interaction with someone where I am doing a reading. or I read them.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm keeping my focus on what I need to get in, get out, and leave. But I will not be on my phone at the register.
Yep.
So Kim will hear, okay, well, I'm gonna go check out now. Bye. It's like, because it's like I'm not gonna do that. I worked retail for many, many, many years, and there's nothing ruder than not being present with someone they're bagging your groceries for you. You could be present and be grateful and that, and people treat you differently when you start having and sharing gratitude with everybody in your life. And your empathic abilities will improve as well because you're not picking up as much of the negative stuff when you're putting out all this gratitude. It's really hard for someone to be not nice to someone who is openly showing sincere gratitude.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure it could be done. You keep hearing Karen out there, but I'm sure it can be done. But I mean, it just enhances your lifestyle. And once you get to that grateful heart, and always try to practice it. And it's a mindset. It's just like when you manifest every day, or if you're going to meditate, or when you're going to journal, it's a mindset. And it's a way to humbly acknowledge the blessings and the abundance that's brought into your life. And as you do that, you will get more in your life.
Right.
So I just think it's so very important, that you have this mindset. When you go into your spirituality and you introduce the gratitude practices, you will be really surprised on how this is going to impact your growth as a psychic.
Yeah. Well, and like on a spiritual level, that's a bridge. Whenever we start showing gratitude to spirit, to our higher selves, to our angels, to whomever it is that we are showing this gratitude to, there's a bridge there between us, and that just gets stronger as you show spirit and your guides, whoever you're working with. That just gets to be a better, stronger bridge. So your communication there does grow, which also, like you're talking about, helps with that spiritual development and growth of your abilities, because that's where we're connecting with anyway. It just makes it stronger.
Absolutely. And we always like to bring up journaling
Mm-hmm.
and meditation
Mm-hmm.
because it's so important to your growth. But if you just, I have several journals, but if you wanted to do a gratitude journal where you just take a few minutes each day and write down 3 things that you're grateful for, and that practice alone will shift your focus from what's lacking in your life to what you already have. So I think that's a very important, and you don't have to have a separate journal for that. You could just do a page that's just dedicated. This page is dedicated to 7 days of 3 things that I'm grateful for, and that'll help with your practice and with your mindset. And then gratitude meditation. So in that, you're going to silently express gratitude for all the blessings in your life, and that will help you with a deeper sense of contentment and appreciation.
Yeah.
But I think that if you start each morning, because how you start your day obviously sets the tone for your day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a morning gratitude ritual where each morning you just express gratitude for, new opportunities and blessings that lie ahead, they haven't even happened yet. You're setting the tone for that day, that you're welcoming these new opportunities and blessings that are coming, and so you're also manifesting when you're doing that as well.
Right. Right.
For these blessings. And, and then at the end of the day, why not go back and look, what blessings did I have? And I think you might be very surprised on how many blessings or opportunities are actually happening in your life when you're doing this.
Yeah.
If you do an act of kindness, which I think we all kind of don't focus on doing an act of kindness in our lives, in our daily lives, Because like a lot of times as psychics, we try to, like when Carrie's in the grocery store, I don't want to make eye contact with anybody. You
Yep.
know, I'm grateful to get out of the grocery store without having a psychic hit. I'm very grateful for that. I'm doing that, is that giving me an opportunity to do an act of kindness for someone. And an act of kindness can, in essence, be psychic for someone. Just doing something, even as small as spreading positivity, can uplift someone else, and that could be your act of kindness. It could be something so small as, oh my gosh, that's such a pretty sweater you have on today. I mean, how would that make you feel, Kim, if someone that you don't know walked up to you and said, oh my gosh, I love that sweater?
Well, it would make me feel good. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. And I've had people compliment something on me. It's usually a necklace because I wear big necklaces. And they'll, oh, I like your necklace. Well, you can't miss it. It's right there. But it makes you feel good. And it's usually something that I made. So I'm like, oh, thank you, I made it. It's just kind of makes you feel good.
Yeah,
And it also makes me feel good that I'm doing the right thing by making jewelry.
definitely.
Just like if someone compliments something you've made, Kim, that's reaffirming that, okay, I'm on the right path.
Right. Exactly.
So a simple act of kindness can be something so small to us that might seem insignificant, but can make a huge impact on someone else.
Right. The act of showing kindness or gratitude doesn't just have to be towards another person or yourself. I mean, we have the whole earth out there Mother Earth, that we should be showing gratitude to as well. Like just observing the beauty around us, planting a tree. I mean, that's showing gratitude
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
world. Picking up litter, picking up trash that you might see on the side of the road or on your property or whatever as you're walking by. Pick it up and throw it away. That's also showing kindness and gratitude to the planet. We all need to take care of that as well because we're all connected, not just people, but the animals and everything around us. I mean, how many times do you fill the bird feeders so that they have something to eat in the wintertime, or to make that a little bit more special for them in the wintertime? That's an act of kindness to those animals, and they show you gratitude by coming back, and you're enjoying watching them, and that's gratitude there. You can show that gratitude. So it can be just something simple and small, like picking up a piece of trash and throwing it away.
Well, if you befriend a crow, they will bring you gifts. They're very grateful if you get it. It's hard to get a crow to trust you, but once they do, they bring you little gifts.
Yeah.
So they even show gratitude.
Right, exactly.
I think that when you start to practice gratitude and you shift from the have-nots to what I have and what I'm grateful for, I think that will also have a positive impact on self-compassion. Because when we are not in a mindset for practicing gratitude, how do we talk to ourselves?
Oh, definitely negatively. Talk down on
I mean,
ourselves. We talk down more
yes.
upon ourselves than we actually put out into the world, is my
Oh, yeah, we say
opinion.
yeah, and we say worse things to ourselves than you would ever say to anybody else.
Right.
And we all do it. Because the lower your vibration, the more you're going to do it. But, having that gratitude and having self-compassion is so important to your spiritual growth. Because, when you start talking bad to yourself, ego's there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And you're purely focusing on the have-nots. I don't have the perfect figure. I don't look good in this outfit. I mean, the list can go for miles. I'm not a good psychic, or people don't believe I'm psychic. I don't believe I've got abilities. Yeah, well, guess what? You won't, because of that self, talk. But when you have self compassion on, you know what, I I'm really proud of myself for doing this. There's nothing wrong with saying that. I really like this about me. Or, the other day I got this psychic hit, and it was so in tune that I'm just so grateful that I was able to help that person. That's a great self-compassion, examples. You need to be self-compassionate, and this gratitude practice will help with that. Because if you're practicing gratitude, then you should be more focused on that instead of what you feel are your shortcomings that nobody else sees.
Right. Which could absolutely help with mental health issues, some mental health issues that are out there, the depression, the anxieties and such. You bring your vibration up and focus on the outside world and show yourself grace. Boy, I'm sure that raises a lot of good feelings out there.
Oh, absolutely. And you keep in mind, what you put out, you get back. So if you're not showing yourself self-compassion and gratitude into yourself, well, what are you going to get back from people around you?
Yeah.
You're going to get negativity. And it's so easy if you have a falling out with a person and that falling out is never resolved, because some falling outs are never supposed to be resolved.
Right.
Because that person is no longer important in your life. They might keep trying to be important in your life, but that's why it was a falling out to begin with. Spirit made it so to remove this person from your life. And even though you have to encounter them possibly at work or grocery store, church, whatever your thing is, you keep seeing this person. If you put out negativity towards them because they hurt you, then you're giving them power over you, right?
Right.
But you're also drawing that energy back to you that you don't want because you're putting it out.
Right. And I think indifference also is the same thing. I feel that indifference is almost at the same level as sending out the negative.
Yes. I mean, I have a situation in my life where there's someone I have to be around. I can't avoid it unless they were, one of us were to find a different job, is basically what it comes down to. But I decided to step into my power, my personal power.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did that, I didn't care anymore. You don't want to talk to me? That's okay. Everybody else is, and I think when I stepped into that grateful mind shift is, I'm really grateful. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that, well, that's huge though.
Right.
Because how many times if someone gets mad at you and you really don't understand why, it drives you crazy. Look, what did I do? Why are you angry with me? Yeah, and there's that point where it's just, some things are just not supposed to work out because it's your life path, or there's a lesson to be learned, or the Spirit's removing that person out of your life for your own good.
Yeah.
And, it's easy to, well, fine, I'll be mad back at you, why? Because I didn't do anything to be, and that's how we are. And then I just decided to step into my own power, and I was grateful that Spirit kind of said, well, why are you putting up with us? Just step in your own power, and just be grateful for everybody else you're working with.
Exactly.
It's not easy to do, by the way.
No, because you could also send them forgiveness for what they're putting out towards you, and you be grateful for the fact that you are not living that life, because there has to be sadness or emotional problems there, or they're going through something that is none of your concern, and they're only reaching out at you because they can, and now you've forgiven them and you're saying, all right, understand.
When you forgive someone, you don't have to tell them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Mentally, or
it's
like whatever.
It's between you. It's between you and Spirit. Okay, I forgive them. I learned my lesson. They'll never get close to me again. But
well, you're grateful for that lesson.
Yeah.
That you realize that this, because it's all life lessons there,
Exactly. Spirit and I were having conversations, and different things were coming up, and it was one of those times where I'm going down the road. I'm like, well, how did I get here so fast?
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because I'm really probably shouldn't do that when I'm driving, having conversations with Spirit, but that's kind of what we do.
But you have to believe that Spirit's going to keep you safe while you're doing
this.
So,
I do. I do.
Have that faith.
I have faith that, So I thought, oh, yeah, all right, I'm stepping in my power, because you know what? I don't really care. And, and I couldn't see that before until I, stepped into my power, and I'm really grateful. And, I'm really grateful for that life lesson, and life lessons can hurt sometimes. And so sometimes it's hard to be grateful in a hurtful life lesson,
Yes, right.
and sometimes you have to meditate and you have to kind of like, okay, journal. Okay, what was the point of this? Why did I go through this again? What was all this about? But you have things that happen in your life that could be happening, that like you're on a journey that maybe started 3 years ago and you didn't realize it. And then you find yourself at a destination that was years in the making and you had no idea. Spirit was moving things behind the scene, you're working towards this, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, how did I get here? And yeah, this is pretty cool, but how'd this happen?
Yeah.
And it happens. Look at your spiritual growth, Kim.
Yeah.
How much you have grown since before we even thought about doing a podcast.
Yeah, there's been a lot of growth there. That's for sure.
And then the things we've learned and how some things have fallen into place and some things have not at the podcast.
Yeah, right.
And, we've had to do a lot of adjustments in our lives to do this, but it still works out that we're doing it. And we've met some very helpful people have come into our lives that do podcasts.
Right.
That, Spirit works through them, giving us guidance and stuff. And, those are things, all things that, we're grateful for. I don't think Kim was grateful that I coerced her into starting a podcast with me.
Looking back, it is grateful. I am grateful.
But at the time, you're like, what? But, it's just these small bits of gratitude become huge, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you want to do it, practice this daily, even if it's like starting out your day, like, I said earlier, being grateful for finding 3 things to put in your journal that you're grateful for, or being truly grateful for the blessings that are going to come today, and the wonderful opportunities that are going to come today. And I think you'll find that you will be truly transformed. And the more grateful you are, like we said, I know I'm repeating, and the higher your vibration, the higher your vibration, the more Spirit works with you. I just think it's very important. I noticed, it's totally off topic, and every time I have a psychic reading, Kim gets a phone call.
Yeah.
I made someone cry. I made someone cry again. Because in all my readings, I make people cry.
Yeah.
It's like, well, when you're talking to someone during a reading, you are talking to someone that has passed on. That was very important to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And we were at a restaurant, me and my boyfriend, this restaurant we go to quite often, and I have one lady there listens to the podcast. You know who you are. I'm not going to call you out by name, but
But hi, and thank you for listening.
hi. Yes, and there was another person when we like to sit at the bar because we get better service in our minds, and so we sat at the bar, and at this particular restaurant, there's 2 bartenders. One gets one half of the bar, the other half of the bar, and then they also wait on tables in the bar area. So these bartenders are quite busy. With this one little gal, I've seen her in there before, never really talked to her, but it was like, why do I keep staring at her? I'm like, okay, Spirit, this is very crowded today. It's the mountains, leaf lookers were everywhere. It was a very busy day at the restaurant. And I'm like, okay, this is not the time. you don't know. And she stopped right in front of me and she just looked at me. I'm like, oh, we made eye contact. Okay. And she had these ladies that were sitting at the bar, and they were not practicing gratitude. We can say it that way. They were very demanding. They were very
Disrespectful.
They were disrespectful. One person ordered a hard cider, but one of the ladies with her said, oh no, if you're going to drink that, you have to put that in wine glass. Like, who cares? So she had to get a wine glass down, and it wasn't, would you mind? Could you, it was, no, you're going to do that. And I just kind of like looked at the ladies because that was rude. I mean, it was just rude.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Their energy level was, kind of one of those where there was a lot of ego in that group. And, then she takes care of them, and then the table opened up that was in the bar area, so they all went to the table, and the one person was left at the bar, and this person was nice. She goes, do I need to settle up with you? Should I settle up for the drinks? And so this person was the only nice person in the group, and she's like, no, that's my table too. And you could tell she was that excited because that was one of the tables she's waiting on. So she comes back and she just stops in front of me and just looks at me, and I said, you're doing great. And she goes, thank you. I said, when you have a moment, can you stop back by? Sure. So she quickly goes to the table, does something, and she rushes back. She goes, okay. And so I don't know if she knew I was psychic, but her grandmother was being very pushy. I said, I'm psychic. And she goes, okay. And I said, so do you mind if I tell you some things? And she's like, no. I said, I know you're busy. I don't want to get you in trouble. We're fine. And I'm like, okay. And so it was not going to be obviously a 45-minute conversation, but Grandma was being very pushy. And so I told her what Grandma was, what she was saying and stuff. And I said, Grandma said a cuss word, but she doesn't normally do that. She said she's very ladylike, but she said a cuss word over a particular situation. And she busted up laughing. She goes, yeah, Grandma wouldn't talk that way. But I said, well, in the afterlife, you see things differently than what you saw before. So she made a point of saying, I normally would not have said this word, but I'm going to say this word. And she said that, well, that word was appropriate. So I'm like, okay. But of course I made her cry. And I'm like, okay, don't cry. It's a restaurant.
Yeah.
But what came to be was, it was a message that Grandma had for her. And, so I talked to her and stuff, and she was grateful. And I was grateful I was able to help her with this message from Grandma. But the whole process, she was grateful to meet a psychic too. And normally I don't lead with, I'm a psychic.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, usually have like a little conversation, feel them out a little bit because, whoever's talking to you is being pushy, but you don't want to just jump right on in. And she was like, I was going to call one of those psychics on the phone. No. They Google. Don't do that. Caller ID can tell who you are. They could Google and get information that way. I said it's better to go to a one-on-one psychic that has good reviews. But, it was very difficult when you make someone cry, though, to find gratitude in that. And then she showed me a tattoo she had on her arm that had her grandmother's date of birth and year of death.
Ah, yeah. So
Grandma was with her a lot, and that connection was very, very strong. But, it's when you get psychic hits as you're developing, sometimes we're not grateful for those, right?
Right, exactly.
Because it's a bad time for you think, and you're not thinking about, well, what's the impact to this person? I don't want people to know I'm psychic, so I'm just going to sit here and not say anything. Meanwhile, you're stifling your growth because you're not accepting your gift.
Right.
And so be prepared when you start practicing gratitude, your gift's going to increase and your manifesting is going to increase. Mm-hmm. Because this is a very important step in your development. If you're dealing from a grateful heart, more blessings come to you, more gifts come to you.
Right.
And you're not out there asking for them. The universe is sending them.
Right. And it's a big difference between just saying you're grateful or just saying thank you. But you do have to mean it. It has to really
absolutely
be something that you mean and feel, Because it's not going to do much if you're just saying it. You have to own it.
Even if it's a near miss with a car accident. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to talk about some gratitude talking going on. I mean, I had one the other day where it was just like it was almost got hit. And I was thanking everybody I could think of for keeping me safe and protecting me and protecting the other person and that nobody was hurt, and not focusing on how bad this could have been, And Kim hears me when she's talking to me on speakerphone in the car that, I can cuss like a sailor.
Yes. Yes.
Driving in the mountains, not everybody's used to mountain driving, and some people need to stay in the right lane, but they choose to be in the left lane, going slowly around a curve, which is impeding the flow of traffic. And then people start to do crazy maneuvers to try to, get around them and stuff. And that's how accidents start. But instead of focusing, and so the next time I'm on the phone with Kim, I bet I hear, "Are we being grateful?"
You may or may not. I'm not going to say.
But that's why I'm saying is it's a mindset, because in the car driving, not all of us are grateful.
Yeah, true.
So it's being aware of being grateful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a practice, but I think you'll find you having a much happier life when you start practicing gratitude.
Yeah, because, once you raise those vibrations, well, when I work on raising my vibrations, I literally feel lighter whenever I'm walking around and when I'm doing things. I mean, you stand taller. You just feel lighter on your feet. Well, like I said, at least I do. So I like that feeling. So what did I do to get there? You know what I'm saying? So it's raising your vibrations, showing gratitude, focusing on others and their needs as well, too, and being grateful to be able to do that.
Yes. And, Thanksgiving, of course, is coming up in November. It's American holiday, which is a controversial, I think, kind of holiday sometimes.
Well,
but it's about
Thanksgiving
being thankful.
for Canada has already taken place as well. So there's different nations celebrate a Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yes. So what Mom used to do when she was with us is you would have to go around the room and say what you were thankful for. And, you get everybody looking at you.
Yep.
The whole family's there. It was the first time she did it. It was hard. He's like, one person said something good. Yeah, I'm grateful for that too. It was like, and each year you knew it was coming. You'd think you'd be prepared. I think there was that secret, maybe she's not going to do it this year kind of thing.
No, well,
and this is tradition.
I dreaded it because I was feeling everybody's emotions before being grounded, but I didn't realize that was happening. I hated it because I was feeling what everybody was feeling.
Well, yeah, and as an ungrounded empath who didn't understand what empath was at the time,
mm-hmm.
You're also picking up sincerity and insincerity,
Yeah, it was a big mix.
Yeah. It's just funny now to look back at it, and we still try to do it for Thanksgiving now, is to say something grateful, but it's a great practice. But if you have to be comfortable doing it for yourself first before you decide to do it at a big Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah.
Because what you're grateful, just having family together to eat, or just being grateful I don't have to cook this meal, or being grateful that I am so glad I don't have to do the dishes, because Kim and I don't know that feeling.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, we're all doing the dishes.
Exactly. But we're always grateful that the other's there to help with it, so we're not alone.
Yes. So. And we have a brother-in-law that jumps right on in with it too. So
yeah.
So there's a lot, find something to be grateful for, and doing that practice, I think whichever practice resonates with you, do it daily. And any time you find that you're disgruntled or upset with an outcome, take a minute, step back, and see what blessing you can make out of that, or what you can be grateful for. Just like my situation with the home inspector wanted me to repair the ceiling, this one little section of the ceiling in the kitchen, versus she didn't notice the roof.
Yeah.
It was really a quick shift for me once I caught what I was doing. but wait a minute, so I think it was more like spirit thumped me on the back of the head, like, this is what you wanted, It's like she didn't notice the roof because she was busy looking at the ceiling of the kitchen, so.
See, even you get smacked in the back of the head by
Oh,
spirit.
No, I'm a frequent flyer there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes, our guides are trying to get our attention.
Yeah.
And we don't, like I said, I don't like being told to wait. But waiting got me the better deal in this house. And then everything fell into place. We make our own roadblocks sometimes when things are trying to fall into place, because we start to get negative.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. What if this doesn't happen? What if I'm making a mistake?
Yeah, that's the easy thing to do. The easiest thing to do is just to fall into those old habits and why go negative.
Yes.
Keeping your vibration, energy, everything up. Sometimes it's a chore or it's difficult to get there, but you can get there.
Yeah. And, if it's not falling into place, then you need to be grateful for it not falling into place, because that means it wasn't correct. It wasn't what you needed. It was a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So a failed relationship at the time can be quite devastating. Like, what happened? Everything was going great. What the heck happened here? All of a sudden someone breaks up and you're like, what happened? Well, when you finally let go of the ego portion of a breakup, because there's a lot of ego in a breakup.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You're going to come crying back to me. You're going to regret that, whatever. I've had spirit remove people out of my lives that were dating potentials quite frequently. I mean, I used the example one time of remove from my life whoever doesn't serve me, and like an hour or two later, I got broken up with.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was fast. Okay. And then what the hard work is to go back and look and see. And sometimes it's your friends or family members that point out the obvious that you didn't see.
Yeah.
And how they're not just saying things to try to make you feel better. They're actually telling you, hey, then you meet someone different that treats you differently. Or it's all these life lessons that you're having, but it's that, was I grateful that he broke up with me? No, but I knew what was going on when he did it.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, oh, yeah, spirit said you had to go. And especially called me 3 days later because I don't know why I broke up with you. I didn't mean to. I'm like, well, yeah. Spirit wanted you to. So,
it's better this way. So, thank you.
Yeah. You can't undo a breakup, so yeah.
You can't take
but
those, you can't take those words back, so thanks.
Yeah. Trying to be grateful in any situation can be challenging. I'll be honest, it can be. Mm-hmm. But the more that you find the good in things, the easier it will become. And you'll kind of get those spiritual lessons that your teens were trying to give you that you haven't been picking up on. Or you're getting pushed now into the correct path that you need to be on. I mean, a lot of things happen for me to buy a house.
Right.
That was not my goal at the beginning of the year, to buy a house.
No, it wasn't. But yet, several years ago, that's where your path was taking you.
Yes.
Because you were on that path at one point in time.
I was on the path. Yes. But it wasn't the right time. Yes,
exactly.
And other things had to fall into place for this to happen.
Yeah.
So it's, it's a lot to be grateful for, but we all have a lot to be grateful for. But so kind of think about the holiday seasons, whichever holiday you practice and participate in. What are you grateful for with that? What are you grateful for in your home life? What are you grateful for some of your traits? Are you grateful that you're clairvoyant? Are you grateful that whatever clair you have, are you grateful for that gift? You become grateful for that gift's going to amp up and it's going to become stronger.
Yeah.
I know Kim's not grateful for being a very strong empath, but it does help you with things, and it has helped you out of situations.
It has, and I'm grateful for it. Sometimes I just wish it wasn't so strong.
Yeah.
or that I didn't feel it so strong, I guess is a better thing to say.
Will you be grateful for more grounding?
Yes, grateful for the grounding.
Yeah. Well, do you have anything else, Kim, you'd like to add to this episode?
Well, I'd really like, if you feel like it, comment on the episode and let us know what you're grateful for, or send us an email too. We'd like to know what you guys are grateful for. I know we're grateful to have all the subscribers and
Oh, absolutely.
listeners that we
Yeah.
do have, and maybe you could share some of the things you're grateful for with us.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
But that's all I have.
Okay. Well, thank you, PsychicBent listeners, for tuning in to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Kim and I always have fun doing the research and stuff, and sometimes we don't know what the other one's going to do, which makes it a lot more fun.
Yeah, it does. But sometimes it's the exact same message that we have to try to work around.
Yes. Yeah, that happens a lot.
It does.
So, all right, listeners, thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye. May your light shine bright. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Psychic Bent. If you enjoyed Psychic Bent, please like, follow, rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to Psychic Bent. We can be reached on Facebook at Psychic Bent Podcast. Our email address is psychicbent1@gmail.com. May your light shine bright.